I'm going immediately into spoilers for this one, so if you only follow the anime and you don't want to know what's going to happen past season 4, I suggest you check out now. Alright, so this is going to be my follow-up video to how powerful the USJ Nomu is or was. I mean, he still kind of is a thing. Maybe he'll come back, if they take over Tartarus. We'll see what happens, but anyway, they talked about my boy in chapter 267, and it's kind of important because it goes all the way back to what I was talking about in my original How Powerful is the USJ Nomu video. I was basically hyping him up, saying that he's still one of the strongest characters we've ever seen in the series to this day, and it's kind of weird how he's downplayed. Said Horikoshi's classifies him as an A-rank villain. And look at the winged Nomu. He is an A-ranked villain as well. So does that mean that these two are more or less created equal or on the same tier? Absolutely not. The USJ Nomu should be an S-rank villain. But again, like I was saying, it doesn't matter. If I'm being blunt about all of this, this interests me because I think I've discovered a plot hole or just an inconsistency within the series with this character. And also I like him. I think he's pretty cool. I like his moveset and his quirks and stuff. But I guess it boils down to Horikoshi maybe underestimating how powerful he made this character and how he's comparing it to future feats and characters and whatnot after that kind of creates this inconsistency and somewhat of a plot hole within the overpower scale of the series, I suppose, right? I mean, but let's go further. Now, I'm aware that he's basically void of free will and debatably even self-aware. I guess he's not even self-aware at this point. He's just an android, more or less. But still, I mean, he seemed to be functioning pretty good just off of the commands, the vague commands that he was given originally. So just replace him with a Nomu or Gigantomachia. Gigantomachia obviously responds only to commands from his master or whoever. You saw he was just chilling there the whole entire time while the raid on the mansion was going down. So how is he that much different from the Nomu, and why is that hindering him from, I don't know, being acknowledged as one of the strongest characters? That's all I'm saying. But another thing is that in chapter 262, we see Yujiko talking about the differences between the Nomus. They're divided into lower, middle, upper tiers depending on how many quirks they have and their physical enhancement. Those in the upper tier are at least as strong as 10 average people combined. And in this panel, we see just literally the USJ Nomu. It's not just another typical black Nomu, which there's tons of. He points out that it's this one. So this literally mean that this is just what he's talking about here this is 10 average people combined, his strength. I don't know, is he just using this as an example because it's a very popular black Nomu that people might remember? I mean, also the chainsaw Nomus there representing the green ones. I don't know, but regardless, I'm going to try to debunk it anyway. But going on from this, he also talks about the high ends. He says standing above all of them, the Nomus we just talked about, are the high-end Nomu, possessing stats beyond those of the upper tier Nomu. So the upper tier Nomu is talking about the black Nomus. And he also says they exhibit the personality traits of their host bodies and have a high capacity for independent thought. So there, 100%, the high-end Nomus trump the USJ Nomu because of that. They have intelligence, and he does not. But we already established, give him a command, and he's just as good as a robot. So let's just put a pin in this chapter 262 stuff because we got to talk about the stuff that's happening currently in chapter 267. So after Aizawa uses his eraser quirk on Shigaraki, he's kind of just bare bones there. He can't use all for one. But then it's revealed that he inherently has superhuman levels of strength, pretty much durability as well. He's also able to evade Endeavor, midair, his blast. Just by waving his arm in that direction and propelling himself with a gust of air. Obviously, we've seen this from multiple characters throughout the series. This is Horikoshi's way of essentially telling us that a character has the top tier level of strength. If they can smash the air like All Might or something, then that's showing that for sure. And that's what he's doing here because even Endeavor himself says that power, it's just like All Might's. But then Yujiko chimes in with some important exposition here. He's like, it's not quite on par with All Might. Sadly, excessive remodeling of his body would have overburdened his brain. And then we see Aizawa saying, my eraser hasn't been undone. Then he distinctly remembers the USJ Nomu. Literally, they show him here as a frame of reference, and then he says, does that mean he's a perfected Nomu? So I guess this straight up is confirming to us that plus Ultra Shigaraki, this one right here, the final boss of this arc, is not as strong as the USJ Nomu. I mean, and of course, I'm not saying like overall, because obviously the USJ Nomu doesn't have this crazy decay quirk and all of the other stuff that he has, all for one, namely, but physical strength, physicality, the USJ Nomu surpasses him there. So, let's go back to chapter 262 now, because we need some retribution for our boy. And I'm not even trying to come into Horikoshi here. Like I talked about in my previous video, the S-rank stuff, he's not like examining this stuff the way that I am. And he doesn't really care as much, I guess, to make the continuity of these feats line up. But I'll just do it for him. But anyway, like, if the USJ Nomu, okay, confirmed, obviously, to be as strong as All Might, he proved it. He has the feats to back it up. Okay, and if plus Ultra Shigaraki right now is not on that level, then that means that the high-end Nomus themselves would not be on that level as well, meaning that the example that we see here is not accurate, and maybe he just put it there as just showing you that, like, hey, black Nomus in general. Because do you think that Mirko is as strong as All Might? I mean, I'm sure most of you said no, because I don't think that's true at all. I don't even think Mirko is close to the level of strength of All Might. Doesn't mean she's weak. She's one of the strongest heroes easily, but the fact that she can take out these high ends by herself, pretty strong they are. Obviously, we saw, Hood, how he took care of Endeavor, and we saw how the other high-end Nomus have done, namely in the fight that I'm talking about with, like, Mirko. Now, let's go further. Now, we saw how Endeavor did against the other high ends. Now, he had some help, of course, but in the end, Endeavor was able to take down, like, multiple high ends. I mean, he obviously took down Hood. He had a little help from Hawks, and then he took down the other ones, but, like, he was just, like, manhandling them. Like, it got to the point of where it seemed like Endeavor was definitively just as strong as a high-end Nomu, which is pretty impressive. But we saw how Endeavor did against plus Ultra Shigaraki. And when he was being, nerfed, it had his all-for-one shut off by Aizawa, he was still beasting Endeavor. I mean, it just happened in this chapter. Super impressive. Like, he just beats him down. Pure physicality, speed, durability. He even blows off one of his arms. And that's still not enough. He's standing on top of him with his arm raised. Now, this is an individual that we're looking at that is not as strong as the USJ Nomu. Now, I don't know if, like, the 75% completion that we saw means that he's only 75% of the USJ Nomu. I don't think that. But regardless, Yujiko himself said he's not that strong. So just replace the USJ Nomu right here in this sequence. Take plus Ultra Shigaraki away, put him in. Same thing's going to happen here, if not worse. He's going to dominate Endeavor. You consider he's stronger, considering he can do, like, literal Detroit smashes. He might even kill Endeavor accidentally with how insanely powerful he is. Now, Endeavor has dealt with power like that before, the high-end Nomu Hood, of course, but while Hood had some good feats of strength, I still don't think he was on the level of strength of the USJ Nomu. He just doesn't have, like, that kind of raw, like, Detroit smash type of strength to him, or at least he didn't exhibit anything like that. So now we replace that, and we saw, like, pretty much what would happen. Do the same thing with Mirko against the high-end Nomus. Take out the high-end Nomus, replace the USJ Nomu. Okay, now, I think the USJ Nomu is faster than Mirko because he was just as fast as All Might. And are you going to tell me that Mirko is as fast as All Might? Again, it goes back to her being no chump in this area either. She's super fast and super strong, but All Might and the USJ Nomu just take it to another level. Now, on top of that, he has his shock absorption quirk, which is insane. And the punches that he's able to take from All Might are literally said by Izuku in the manga to pretty much be a replicate of, like, what we saw him do against the sludge villain. Like, when he's punching so hard that he's, like, making it rain. So the USJ Nomu can, like, take 300 of these punches more or less. Maybe not everyone had that effort, but he can take so many of these. So do you think Mirko would be able to replicate a feat like this, or even come close to replicating a feat like this? In my opinion, it doesn't seem likely. Again, I'm not trying to downplay Mirko. It's just that we're looking at the very top of the power scale here, and she is not quite there. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and actually, you can kind of look at it as us seeing what inevitably was going to happen at the very beginning of the series. And I wonder if Horikoshi intentionally did it this way. Because, like, the first time we really see the League of Villains, we see them in pieces. You see, like, the high-end Nomu, you see Shigaraki, and then in the shadows, it was nerfed all for one. And now we're seeing all three of those pieces came together, because, you know, it's like Shigaraki, his, you know, the soul, his mind, in the body of the high-end Nomu with the power of All for One. Maybe, maybe not. But regardless, if you like the video, guys, if it entertained you, please give it a like. I also have a Patreon. I give you access to weekly Q&A. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.